everyone, my name is Dr. Sapneil owner and founder of Sapneil Tutoring Incorporated. Today from my desk we're going to be talking about the SAT reading and some of the most important and top strategies for the SAT reading. Now remember, this applies for the SAT that is current to this year and not for the digital SAT. We're going to be coming out with a library of videos that applies to the digital SAT, the strategies, the content in the coming weeks. However, this video applies to the current SAT and top strategy of the SAT reading. So what are these top strategies? Number one, don't waste too much time reading the passage. Remember, there's 5 passages, 65 minutes on the SAT reading, approximately 13 minutes a passage. You want to spend maybe 2 to 3 minutes, max 4 minutes reading that passage and then going to the question. The most important thing I would say is making sure that you get the main idea or big picture of the passage along with the little details on that type of passage. And then going into the questions and answering those questions. Each question is equally weighted, so no matter how many questions you answer, they're all equal amount of points. So be smart about the questions that you're answering, the passages that you're reading, which ones you're more comfortable with, go to those passages first, and then be strategic on how to paraphrase or get a map of your passage. Tip number 2 is start with the easiest passages. So what does that mean? You want to start with passages, if you're really strong on SAT Humanities or SAT Narrative Fiction passages, start on those first. You know, you're able to go into the passages that you want to go into first. You're not required to go from passage 1 to passage 2 to passage 3 in that order. You can start at passage 4, do the ones that you're more comfortable with. Tip number 3, answer the easiest questions first as they apply to the passages. If you have a double passage, maybe read passage 1 of that paired passage, answer the questions that applies to passage 1, read passage 2. Tip number 4, try not zoning out. How does that work, right? You gotta actively read. That means use the active voice. If you're reading about prose fiction, talk with that tone. Talk with that tone of maybe a short story, okay? Whether it's Romeo and Juliet or Shakespeare or whatever that is, try to really embed yourself in what you're reading. And tip number 5, if you're down to 2 on a question, try to eliminate down to 50-50. A lot of time that's gonna happen, you're gonna have 2 great answer choices. Try to go with the one that you think is the best answer choice and provide the best evidence for yourself. Try not skipping questions. If you do, circle them and come back to them. If you do skip questions, make sure you're skipping questions on areas that you're not so familiar about. So what does that mean? Sometimes students have a really hard time on inference questions or evidence support questions. They take a lot of time to do. If you know that there's many more passages to come in your reading section and you want to get more points, you can always come back to those. But ultimately, it's about practice, it's about time management, and it's about actively reading. Those are 3 important tips. But really, it comes down to making sure you're implementing those tips and then paraphrasing and mapping the passage and getting comfortable through practice exams and multiple practice exams when it comes to the SAT reading. That's it for today. Thank you so much, and we hope to help you achieve your academic goals.